Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today I just have a few Lori Vallow case updates. So I'm going to share with you a few things that I read in a few different articles that are kind of interesting about the case. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to talk about is, so somebody posted this where Lori got in trouble for check fraud. I just find it kind of interesting. It was back in 1996, but I know it doesn't have anything to do with this case, but it just kind of shows you who she is, you know, the selfishness of her to take from somebody else, because I'm thinking check fraud, wouldn't that be taken from, probably that she took from somebody else, not like a company but somebody personally? I'm not sure, it doesn't show the details, but it just kind of shows her selfish ways and her disregard for anybody else but herself. I mean, I know it was a while ago, we all make mistakes, so, and I don't want to come across as like judgmental, because sometimes we make mistakes and we learn and we change, but obviously she hasn't changed, because look what she's doing now. So, I mean, I hate to judge somebody for something they did that long ago, especially if they're trying to be a better person now, but obviously she's not. I mean, who knows what else she's done too. I mean, I feel like she's probably hurt so many people and has done so many selfish things to walk all over people in her life. I really do. I feel like she's just been a horrible person and just that she's probably treated people so badly. I guess I can't know for sure, but just from what she's doing now and how she just, I don't know, she just comes across as a very arrogant, selfish, self-absorbed type person. But anyway, so I just thought this was kind of interesting here. I'll show it to you. See, you could see Lori Noreen Cox on the defense dates January 28th, 1996, Travis County Court, Texas. She did live in Texas. So $20 to $500 theft by check. So I don't know the details of that, but just shows her selfish ways and with no thought for anybody but herself. So I just thought that was kind of interesting. And then look at this picture. Look at this picture from prison here. It's from April 4th to 2020. Look how bad she looks. A rejected visit. So I don't know if maybe it was one of the reporters trying to go in and visit her. You know, somebody from media, and she rejected them. But they take a picture, I guess. I don't know when. I mean, this picture's obviously from sometime in prison. I don't know if it was on April 4th that they took it, but look how bad she looks. Oh my gosh. So yes, there was a rejected visit on April 4th, 2020. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And then another thing I just want to show you real quick. Someone found this post that Colby posted from 2017. So it's Colby and his mom, Lori. And it says, "I love my mom so much. She has done everything for me my entire life. She's been my best friend, and she's always encouraged me to be my best. She was a single mom for a long time, and she managed to be both parents for me. She is the most loving and caring person in this world, and I love her so much." So it's kind of interesting to hear her child, you know, her kid, describe her like that, when obviously we all don't see her like that. And I think he's beginning to see the truth now. For her to pretend for, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, maybe she was a good mom to him, but when was she a single mom, though? Because she was married to Joseph Ryan, right? Oh, maybe right before, okay, before she married Joseph Ryan, I guess, right? It wouldn't have been a long time, because he would have been so young to remember that at the beginning, because that was like when he was, before Tylee was born, and then she was with Joseph Ryan, and then she met Charles. I didn't think it was that long after. No, it was the same year. She divorced Joseph and then married Charles, I think within a year, or it was really soon. So when would she have been a single mother? I mean, I know Colby was from the previous marriage before Joseph, but then I don't think Colby's that much older than Tylee, because then she met Joseph, right? So he was only, I don't know, maybe Colby is, I mean, even if Colby's only like 4 or 5 years older than Tylee, or 6 or 7, I mean, he would have been so young to almost remember it, for him to say she's been a single parent for a long time. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about, the Attorney General is taking over the case. The Lori Vallow Daybell case, okay? I don't know if that's a good thing or... Well, yeah, I guess it's a good thing. More help, more power for the prosecution, you know? So I'm going to read you a part of this here. So it says, Chad and Lori Vallow Daybell are being investigated for conspiracy, attempted murder, and or murder by the Idaho Attorney General's office. The letter from Deputy Attorney General Colleen Zahn is in response to Fremont County Prosecuting Attorney Marsha Murdoch's April 7th request that the AG, the Attorney General, assist in the investigation of Tammy Daybell's death. Tammy, who was married to Chad, died suddenly on October 19th at her Salem home. So investigators have called the death suspicious, and her body was exhumed from the Springville Evergreen Cemetery in Utah in December. Says detectives, which it seems like, wow, are they still waiting for autopsy and toxicology reports, or do you think they have them already? And maybe they're just waiting for the trial to let people know because they're building a case. So they have to, I bet you they have to have the reports by now. Because that's another thing I'm going to talk to you about, how Lori and her defense team are requesting the discovery, which includes the autopsy reports from Alex and Tammy. It makes you wonder, do you think Lori was honest with her lawyers? Because, I mean, I think she's involved, but do you think they know what to expect? Let's say, they did poison Tammy or whatever. Now they're requesting an autopsy. Do you think she was telling him, or she has been telling him the whole time, we didn't do nothing, there's not going to be anything, anything in the autopsy? So they request these autopsy reports, and let's say hopefully they find something. I mean, what are the lawyers going to do? I mean, I know this probably happens a lot because they defend criminals all the time, but what I'm wondering is if they are really believing her innocence. And are they going to be surprised if they see something like that in the report? Or do you think they already know? And if they do know, do you think it's because Lori was honest with them, just so they know what to expect? Because I'm sure the lawyers are like, come on, Lori, you got to be upfront with us so we know how to build this case. Because if there's something in the autopsy, they have to be able to use that to somehow build up a defense. Somehow they're going to have to make an argument on why or what, or I don't know. I'm just curious what she's telling her lawyer, that's all. But they must have something because this article and these new documents, it looks like Lori and Chad are listed as defendants under the murder of Tammy. Okay, listen to this article. It says cult mom Lori Vallow and her husband Chad Daybell are being investigated for the murder of his first wife, who died under suspicious circumstances. Tammy Daybell was found dead under suspicious circumstances at the Idaho home she shared with her then husband Chad in October, less than 3 weeks before he and Lori tied the knot. The Idaho Attorney General recently took over the probe for the Fremont County Sheriff's Office. A letter confirming the transfer, obtained by the East Idaho News, shows that the investigation scope now includes conspiracy, attempted murder, and murder, naming Lori and Chad as defendants. Chad has yet to face any charges, though the Idaho Attorney General letter suggests that could soon change. Her death was listed as natural causes when Chad declined an autopsy. Many friends of Tammy have insisted that the 49-year-old was in great shape, casting doubt on the initial ruling. The authorities exhumed Tammy's body in December after determining her death could be linked to the disappearance of JJ and Tylee. The results of the autopsy and toxicology test have not yet been released. So, I wonder what they found out in the autopsy. It makes me think that they did find something, saying that could soon be changed. Chad is about to be arrested, I think. I mean, I was thinking that anyway. It's only a matter of time. I was thinking they have to find something in Tammy and Alex's autopsy, because I don't think it was natural causes. I think there was foul play, definitely. So I was really counting on them finding something, and it looks like hopefully they did. So time will tell. I guess we'll have to wait to see when they announce the official when they officially arrest Chad, and then maybe announce the official charges and stuff. So the Attorney General Zahn writes, the Attorney General's office will provide prosecutorial assistance without local prosecutor involvement, and the Attorney General will take charge of the case. All decisions regarding the case shall be the responsibility of the Attorney General, the letter states. So that's good, probably. I feel like, don't you guys? Is that a good thing that they'll be in charge? Hopefully she's good, and I feel like it maybe just gives them more power, more help, more manpower, more. I don't know. I just think it's a good thing. Let me know what you guys think. I'm not that familiar with law and really how it would be good. The specifics, it just sounds like I don't know. It just sounds like that it might be a good thing that this is happening, but. If somebody's more knowledgeable on it, let me know. To me, it sounds good. That's all. I mean, it sounds like it hopefully will help the prosecution. The Fremont County will pay for all costs associated with the case other than the salaries of Attorney General personnel involved. The letter was written and signed by Zahn and accepted and signed by Murdoch on Thursday, April 9th. So that's that. So like I said, let me know, people that are more familiar with how that, how that will affect the trial. I mean, is this what does that mean for the case that the Attorney General is now taking over? Is it just an extra? I mean, it sounds like it'll be an extra person to help, right? You got the prosecutor and then you got the Attorney General and their personnel, so it seems like it'll be extra people, like extra manpower, extra people to help build this case and get all the evidence and have their thoughts, brainstorm ways to convince the jury that Lori is guilty. So the next thing I want to talk about is how Lori Daybell's attorney asked for autopsy reports, disputes jail visiting procedures, and wants bail lowered. I mean, we knew they were going to ask for the bail lowered or somehow use this for them, that the jail accidentally recorded their conversation. And now it makes sense. People were explaining. I don't know how I didn't see that. The reason that the COVID-19 affected the whole recording procedure is because they were in a different room, which is the room with the glass in between them, like I think that the prisoners use, when they get people visiting them, and then all their conversations are recorded. Well, because they had to use those rooms for their meetings, they forgot to turn off that recording. They accidentally recorded because they weren't using the normal rooms. They were using the rooms that were for just the inmates to, I think it's where they actually get people to visit them. With the glass, Okay, so Mark Means, who is Lori's attorney, asked Madison County Prosecutor Rob Wood for the toxicology and autopsy reports for two of Daybell's former husbands, Charles Vallow and Joe Ryan. Wait, I thought Joe Ryan was cremated, though, right? So they just want the reports, but they couldn't exhume. Well, yeah, I guess I think they're both cremated, yeah. So they just want the reports to look over them, but obviously they didn't find anything when they did them, because then they would have found something, right? They would have, it's a shame that they can't exhume them and do a new autopsy like they did with Tammy and Alex, but they were cremated, so I guess it's just the reports that they're requesting. So wonder what's in there. Like, well, we know how Charles died, but I wonder what Joseph, if Joseph was given some kind of poison, wouldn't they have had to have tested for that? So, but maybe they'll be able to tell something by the autopsy report that was already done, hopefully. Lori Vallow, Daybell's attorney, is asking the Madison County Prosecutor's Office to hand over multiple documents, including autopsy reports for Tammy Daybell, Charles Vallow, and others. In a request for discovery, defense attorney Mark Means asked for all items related to investigations involving his client. Daybell was charged with 2 counts of felony child abandonment, misdemeanor resisting and obstructing an officer, solicitation of a crime, and contempt of court. Means is also requesting the names of all investigating authorities and the communications they made during the course of their investigations. He is asking for 2 years' worth of emails from Lori's computer, social media postings, dating and romantic website information, along with all financial records. So remember, this is her lawyer is asking for the prosecution to hand over all this information, the discovery. So wonder, once he sees all this information, wonder if he's going to change his mind about representing her. Because, what if the money runs out? What if Chad stops paying that lawyer? Because he might be worried that he's going to be arrested soon, so he's going to need that money to defend him. I don't know why, I just see it coming very soon where he might not be able to keep paying Lori's attorneys because he might get arrested, like I said, and he's going to need money for his attorneys. So therefore he stops paying. Lori's screwed. She turns on him. He turns on her. I just feel like it's going to be a mess soon because they're going to turn on each other when they can't help each other out anymore. Okay, so yeah, they're requesting. So this is what's in the discovery. The prosecution, this is what some of the stuff that they have. They have 2 years of emails, her social media postings, dating and romantic website information, financial records. Included in the request are records from Lori's telephone, laptop, and other items. In the request, Means asked for all documents, recordings, written evidence, photographs, videos, records, reports, text, emails, financials, and other information related to a lengthy list of individuals, including Kay and Larry Woodcock, JJ's grandparents, Brandon Boudreaux, Lori's former nephew-in-law, and others. Means asked for the discovery to be provided to his office within 15 days. The request comes after the attorney already received 1,600 pages of documents and records, along with 14.6 gigabytes of photos, videos, and other electronic information in preparation for Lori's preliminary hearing on May 7th and 8th. Means said that number will likely increase to over 10,000 pages and more than 200 gigabytes of files. Man, I wish we could get those. I wish we could see some of that, but we're going to have to wait, I bet. And then the bail reduction request, okay? In a separate motion filed Thursday, Means requested another hearing before Magistrate Judge Michelle Mallard to reduce Lori's $1 million bail. Okay, so I'm going to read you the actual official documents on the bail reduction request. So Lori's lawyer put in a request for bail reduction. So I'm going to read you the files here. It says, comes now defendant Mrs. Lori Vallow Daybell by and through her attorney of record Mark L. Means of Means Law and Mediation hereby declare in support of her motion for amended motion for bond reduction as follows. Attorney Mark L. Means being first duly sworn upon oath deposes, declares, and says as follows. I am attorney of record for the defendant Mrs. Lori Vallow Daybell that on or about 3/24/20, I cause it to be filed with this court her declared motion for bond reduction. To date, no response objection has been filed with the court, and despite requests for an oral in-court hearing on the above motion, no notice of availability of the court to hear such has been provided. That on or about 3/16/20, my office received approximately 1,600 pages, documents, records, as well as approximately 14.6 gigabytes of videos, photographs, electronic and tangible production, and the like from the Madison County Prosecutor's Office. It is reasonable anticipated that future production of documents, records, tangible and intangible records will be produced to defendant as acquired by the prosecution, totaling over 200 gigabytes, 10,000 pages of tangible records, etc. That on or about 3/30/20, I traveled to the Madison County Female Detention Center to meet my client in preparation for the forthcoming preliminary hearing and to review said documents and records. That upon arriving at said detention center, I was required with no attorney-client option to the sole option of communicating with my client in the public visitor meeting room, wall of glass between attorney and client, over a recorded telephone line, upon which my client was required to enter her inmate number for charges and consent to recording of said phone call prior to connection of the telephone lines. Wait, so if she knew prior, then why is that an issue? If it said prior and it said to consent to the recording, then she didn't have to consent, right? So why didn't she just tell them right there, hey, I don't want to consent, and then they could have turned it off? You know what I'm saying? Or just said, nope, I'm not consenting. But if she was told it was recorded, how is that in a violation? Unless if she says that and she requests them to turn it off and they don't turn it off or give her any other option and make her stay there and have the meeting. Well, basically say that's if you want to meet with them, then this is the way you have to do it, and that was the only option. But if, okay, I didn't know that she knew ahead of time. Sorry, I'm gonna finish reading. So it says, in addition, that I was told that the only way that my client could review documents was to pass possibly sensitive documents, records, by and through a detention center officer from the public my side room, round and about through multiple security doors to the inmate client side, all of which would be out of the sight of the attorney and client. The procedure is unreasonable, in direct violation of the regulations, law, and Constitution of the State of Idaho and the United States of America. This detention center procedure, unlawful restrictions have made it impossible to prepare for said hearings, to communicate with my client in a confident, privileged manner, and to simply review productions of documents, records, with my client to assist in her defense of the pending charges and criminal complaint. That these unlawful restrictions, as well as no hearing allowed to date on the previously filed motion to reduce bond, are in violation of my client's basic due process rights, specifically but not limited to defendants' rights to effective assistance counsel, Idaho Rules of Criminal Procedure, Constitution of the State of Idaho, attorney-client privilege, Code of Federal Regulations, Title 28 Judicial Administration, Chapter 5 Bureau of Prisons, Department of Justice, as well as violations of the Constitution of the United States, included but not limited to Amendment 5, 6, 8, and 9. Again, we respectfully request oral argument on this motion before the Honorable Judge Mallard. So that makes me think maybe they did use that on purpose. I mean, instead of just letting them know, hey, this is still recorded, we have this attorney-client privilege, and then they could shut it off, they just went ahead and did the meeting so then they could use that probably doing it, not saying anything obvious, I mean, important. Because if she had to consent ahead of time, that means she knew before she said anything that she was being recorded. So I guarantee if she would ask somebody, hey, we're being recorded, and if the attorney said, hey, I have this privilege, and then they would have stopped the recording. Because like they said afterwards, they erased it. They wished it was an accident. So I'm sure they would have stopped it. So why did they do it purposely, thinking, okay, let's just do this, and then afterwards we could use this to help us? That's what I'm thinking, because I didn't realize that she consented before the whole conversation. Wow. Okay, so that's that one. So here's another article. I want to read you a few things, and it says, Cult Mom Corona bid. So it says, Lori Vallow asked to be released from jail due to the virus and requests autopsy for ex's and fifth husband's wife. So now she's using this virus for her advantage. So it says, Lori Vallow has asked to be released from jail due to the virus crisis, court documents show. The accused cult mom, who is charged in connection with the disappearance of her 2 kids, has also asked to see autopsy reports for her ex-husbands and the late wife of her 5th spouse. So we saw that. And then it says Vallow is a person of interest in at least one of those deaths, 3 of which are currently under investigation. Says the whereabouts of daughter Tylee, 17, and 7-year-old son Joshua are still unknown, and there's no evidence to suggest that Lori is cooperating with the police on the matter. So we know that Lori and her lawyer then submitted a motion to have her bond reduced, so she is currently being held in jail because she has not posted a bond. So it was at $5 million, and then the judge reduced it to $1 million, and now the lawyer's asking for it to be at $10,000. And now they're also asking that she be allowed to walk free on account of the virus outbreak. Are you kidding me? I pray that that's not going to happen. I don't see that happening, but I do see possibly because of the so-called jail's mistake of recording. But now that I see, I think they did it on purpose. Before it starts recording, they said that it will say, okay, are you okay with this being recorded, or whatever it said that it said, and then you have to agree to the conversation being recorded. So they make you aware of it before the conversation even starts. So now that I see that they were aware that it was being recorded before their conversation, if they were so concerned about it, why didn't they tell the guard, hey, listen, we don't agree to this being recorded. We have a attorney-client privilege. And then they could have turned the recording off beforehand or did whatever they had to do. And then if the jail still, okay, let's say the jail says, oh, too bad, you have to do it. Then, yeah, the jail's at fault. But I guarantee the jail would have said, oh yeah, we got to turn that off. The fact that Lori and her lawyer didn't do that, didn't ask for them to turn it off, at least try to say, hey, can you turn it off? They didn't even try. They just went ahead with their meeting. That just looks suspicious to me. They did that on purpose so then they could use that as a way to get her bond lower, to get her out of bond, or to get her out of jail, to use that for their benefit. It just makes it look like, yes, they did that on purpose. They said, okay, let's have this conversation anyway, and then let's use this for our benefit. That possibly can make the bond be lowered, that they might lower the bond, but let's hope not. Now we got the attorney general working with the prosecution, so maybe it won't affect it. Maybe them recording that conversation might not have any effect on it. Let's hope. So Lori's attorney, Mark Means, states in his filing that the current precautions being taken to avoid the spread of the virus at her jail make working on the case difficult. And then he goes on to talk about how I was required with no attorney-client option to the sole option of communicating with my client in the public visitor meeting room. So yeah, they're requesting the toxicology reports, the corresponding and associated documents, records, testing results, procedures used, expert reports, notes, charts, chemical analysis, expert opinions, persons involved. This is all the stuff they're requesting from the prosecution. Then it says Lori and her lawyer want a trove of additional information on Charles as well, including investigation materials, files, records, reports regarding Mr. Charles Vallow, emails for past 2 years from Mr. Vallow's Gmail account. But that's not fair because Charles isn't the one on trial here. Why would they get access to that? It doesn't seem fair. Well, I guess if they're investigating Charles's death. So that's what I wonder. Do they have to? This is another question I have for a lawyer. Somebody that's maybe can answer this. If they find some foul play in either Alex's death and Charles's death, is it each case? I mean, they're gonna have to do each case separately, right? They're not gonna just put it all into one. So what would be her first? Okay, she goes to trial. I mean, what would be the thing she's in trial for? For her missing kids, or is it going to be Charles's death? Is it going to be Alex's death? I mean, how are they going to do this all? Because they're investigating all of it, and now they're saying they want Charles's information, like as much information about Charles as they're getting on Lori. So I mean, we know that they're investigating Charles's death, so are they going to include that in the trial for the missing children? Or how does that work? I mean, wouldn't they have to do it all separately, or is it all just one big crime? No, I guess that was in July. So, man, how many trials is she gonna have to be in? That's what I don't understand, because she could be in, I mean, depending on the autopsy reports and the evidence, she could be a defendant in Charles's death, Joseph Ryan's death, Tammy Daybell's death, Alex's death. I mean, if they find there's foul play in all of their deaths, plus the kid's disappearance, whatever they find out about what happened to the kids, that'll be another trial. I mean, that's what she's arrested for right now. So are they going to be all separate trials? That's what I don't understand. I might sound silly or stupid, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know how that works. Okay, so back to the request that her lawyer is asking the prosecutor for this information, these documents, and this information from the discovery. So we left off talking about this stuff, all the information they're trying to get on Charles Vallow. I'm going to continue here. So it says, yeah, they're getting, wow, see, his Gmail account for 2 years, all the emails, all social media postings. I mean, this is from Charles's, all his social media postings, dating and romantic website information, communications, all financial records, including but not limited to life insurance policy records, Chase credit accounts, UFCU credit union, U.S. Bank credit card, Chandler, Arizona Police Department records. Something else that I found that I'm not sure if it's from like somebody talking for Chad, like one of Chad's friends, or to me it sounds like he's basically saying he's his friend, like he knows him and he knows the story, and basically that he's talking for him, like he's gonna be the one telling his story almost. I mean, besides the book supposedly that Chad's gonna put out, but it sounds like he's saying when he's ready to make that announcement, once, I'm not sure what Chad's waiting for or what Lori's waiting for. I mean, just tell us where the kids are then. I mean, why are you waiting so long? But anyway, it just sounds like this guy is basically claiming to be like his spokesperson, and that he's going to be the one that comes out for Chad, speaking on Chad's behalf whenever the time's right to tell us what happened. So it's just kind of weird. I just don't know if this guy's legit. I mean, is he really Chad's friend? Is this somebody that really knows Chad and is really speaking for Chad, or is it somebody just making up stuff? I don't know. For some reason, I feel like that this guy is legit. Like he really is a friend of Chad that is speaking on Chad's behalf. I don't mean legit like I believe what he's saying about the kids and about what Chad's telling him. I mean, I believe that he probably really is talking to Chad is what I meant. Not legit that like I believe what this letter says after I read it, like the content of what he's saying, that Chad, you know, that basically that the media got it wrong. Like, I don't think that that's true. I'm just saying I believe that maybe he really is friends with Chad, and this is what Chad's saying to him. That's all. Let me know if you guys have heard of this guy or heard of this post or what you guys think about it. I'm going to read it to you right now. So it says, the marriage, moving to Hawaii, Tammy's death, I guess, etc., etc., etc. I don't know if that's what that means, but, and then it says, it took them 54 minutes just to walk us through the whole ordeal. Those of you who chose to think the worst of our friend and throw him under the bus and believed all of the lies that have been posted on social media and in the lamestream news will have some crow to eat after their story is released. And their story and all of its detail is coming soon. No surprise, the court of public opinion once again got it all wrong. As I have said from the beginning, this is a nasty, ugly custody case involving major sums of money, with everything being driven by Grandma. And yes, there is so much more going on just beneath the surface of the water that hasn't been put out yet. And yes, Chad is writing a new book about this whole drama. To those of you who choose to stand with Chad, he expresses his heartfelt appreciation. In Lori and Chad's words, the chaff have been separated from the wheat in this sifting. They know with a certainty who their real friends are. The next step now is to patiently wait for the police department to release the findings of the autopsy. Once that is done, then you can expect me to begin to put out some of the long-awaited details everyone has been begging for. Christopher M. Parrott, and then his little quote, "The degree of our preparation will be equal to the extent of our obedience, which will determine the measure of our peace of mind." So, okay, I have a couple things to say about that. First of all, who is this person? Okay, is he really speaking for Chad? Does he really know Chad? He is a spokesperson, I should say. And what? Chad is writing a book about this? Are you kidding me? Gosh, it just is sickening to me that there's already for sure known dead people. I mean, there's already for sure, let's see. You have Joseph Ryan, which I think is a part of this. His life was taken. Charles Vallow's life was taken. Tammy Daybell's life was taken. Alex Cox's life was taken. And he's gonna write a book about it? In the middle of it all? Like, how messed up is that? So this person, Christopher Parrott, he's going to be the one putting out the information? So is he Chad's spokesperson, I guess? I mean, all anybody's asking for is just to show everybody the kids. I mean, I don't even think they were asking necessarily that they had to turn them over originally. If they would have just showed that they were safe to begin with, then she probably could have kept them. But the fact how she's handling it, yeah, now if she showed where the kids were, then they probably would take the kids from her now if they were still alive and she showed us where they were. Because, I mean, she's kind of coming across as unstable here, that she is not taking care of her kids. That means she's not with them. Who's taking care of them? If they really are alive somewhere, then who is taking care of them? Obviously she's not with them. So why would they let her have them if she's not taking care of them? She's having some stranger, if that's even the case, or is Tylee taking care of JJ by herself? I mean, obviously Lori's not the one taking care of him, so why would they let her keep them now? But unfortunately, I don't think that's the case. I mean, I don't think they're with us anymore. I know I hate to say it, but I used to have hope, but now hearing more and more stuff, I really don't think it's not looking good for them. But I'm just giving you a hypothetical that they might have let her keep them before if she would have just showed them, but now, I mean, obviously she's not the one taking care of them, so why would they let her keep them? Doesn't make sense to me. Everybody would shut up if they just produced the kids, you know? So I found this letter kind of crazy. And then what else did I want to show you here? Oh yeah, and I forgot to show you this. So it's saying that on 4/9 was the notice of the hearing, and then the motion for bond reduction is set for 4/17, so April 17th. Not that long from now. If it doesn't get canceled and they still have it, then we'll see if they lower the bond. Let's hope they don't. And then it looks like on May 7th is the preliminary hearing, but depending on how this goes with everything going on in the world, they might have to postpone it till a later date. I just hope that they see how silly it is to let her out because of the virus and I mean, oh well, she made her choices and it's her punishment. If she then show us where the kids are, and then maybe they'll let her out of jail, just like the prosecutor said. Just produce your kids. There's this article here that just recently came out, because they keep requesting for the bond to be lowered, and the prosecution's just responding, okay, well, show us the kids, and then we'll reduce your bond or let you out. I'll just read a couple parts from it real quick. Hold on. It's titled, Lori Vallow requests another bail reduction, but prosecutors ask for missing kids first. It says Lori Vallow is still trying to get out from behind bars where she's being held after failing to produce her children months after they disappeared. Lawyers for the Idaho mother of two requested that her bail be reduced to $10,000, but state prosecutors have objected to Vallow's attorney's motion, arguing that she shouldn't be granted anything until JJ and Tylee appear. And if she can't do it, then that means she probably killed them, so then she should be in jail. And if she can do it, then if she's so worried about the virus, shouldn't she be worried about her kids too? So show us where the kids, make sure they're okay, and then they could let her out or lower her bond, or I'm sure they would. I don't know, there wouldn't be any charge because it's all about her kids. Well, there might be some charge. I don't know what the charges would be, but I'm sure they would let her out if she produced her kids. So no, then if you're not too concerned to make sure your kids are all right with everything going on in the world, then you stay in. And if you can't produce them because you did something to them, then you're where you belong, right? So I don't think that's fair if they release her because of that, or because of that whole recording, considering she consented before. Like I said, like I was saying earlier, it doesn't make sense. But so yeah, so 4/9 was the notice of hearing, so that was Thursday, and then yeah, 4/17 and 5/7. I think it'll be moved back though, because it's just, I don't think everything will be ready to have court again. I mean, everything's on hold, so I just don't think that that's enough time for what's going on in the world to get back to normal. I mean, it doesn't have to get back to normal, but to get back having court, because all the court's been canceled, all the court appearances. I guess they could do virtual, like video court. I still don't understand why they're not doing that, but maybe they are doing that for some of them. Another little interesting fact I found, this is from Justin Lum, Fox 10, said Chad Daybell is interested in putting a manufactured home on his Salem, Idaho property this spring, per source. Daybell inquired about the mobile home last Friday, 3/27, and said his financing is moving along well. The phone number he used checks out as the same he registered in Kauai. He can't have that much money left. I mean, they were living in Hawaii, looked like they were living it up, and now he's buying this home, which, I mean, is probably not the most expensive home, but still. And then for her lawyer so far, I mean, I don't think he has that much money left. I really don't. Who knows, though? But I'm sure he needs to save it for his defense, too. Because, I mean, he's got to be charged with something, right? Okay, guys, that's all I have for you today. Hope you guys are all doing good still. And hopefully we'll do a live soon so I could chat with y'all. And hopefully y'all had a nice Easter. I know it was probably a different Easter than you've probably ever had, but hopefully it was okay. And yeah, just have a good day, everybody. Take care. Bye.